Trevor, I'm doing good. I am a little disappointed. I wanted to believe that when I came in here, there was someone else that liked Hamilton too, and that wasn't just for me. And then I'm looking around, I'm like, oh, ain't nobody else singing along. I'm like, maybe this was just for me. I'm the only one here. But no, I do. Man, from the minute that musical came out, our whole family was into it.
Love it. So we do have a few new agents on here, right? Team's growing, and they might not know who you are yet. So I'd love if we could just do a quick introduction just for the brand new agents today.
Yeah, for sure, guys. I came to Symmetry in January of 2020. Lasted about 4 months, sold 3 policies. I don't think maybe even one of them issued. I decided this was way too hard and overwhelming. I didn't like anything about it and I quit. Then I came back in January of 22, and I was one of the fastest to the top contract levels and equity partner in the company's history. Came back in January of 22. I broke out as an agency owner that year that I joined, just shy of $1 million in premium as an agency. Second year in 23, we did 4.1 million. 2024, we did 6.5. Last year, we did 7.5. I got a stretch goal of doing $10 million as an agency here. So we are growing. And I'll tell you, it's been really surreal to recognize that the same exact guy who got overwhelmed and quit was the same guy that hit the top of this company in near record time. That alone has haunted me. Every time I run a new agent activation call, every time I'm on a call like this, I look at every single pair of eyes in every square, and I recognize that every one of you has the potential to walk either one of those roads. You have the potential to get overwhelmed, find this to be too hard, and quit. That potential exists inside of you. You also have the potential to learn how to do this, tap into a grit and a reserve, figure it out, and hit the top of this company. Both potentials exist. Which one you're going to walk becomes a choice you get to work out in this journey. And so anything that I can do on any call I go on to help you choose that road less traveled, and to choose success and to choose winning and to choose grit, anything I can do to help encourage the journey on that road, I will promise you, from a guy who walked both of those, that road is worth walking.
Love that side of it. I'm gonna knock out real quick because we had a contest. For those that didn't pay attention, which I would be shocked if anybody would say that on here. But in case this is your first time on this call, oh, there we go, little Yellowstone. I like it. We had a contest this week for Jim's new book that came out. Whoever wrote an app got their name on the wheel. So we're going to do that at the end, but I'm going to knock out leaderboards real quick, get through the slideshow real fast, and get this rocking and rolling, and then we'll get to Jim. All right, what do we got? Today's host. Yeah, Mr. T. Don't forget, Kelly's morning show is coming back. In case you missed it, the third Thursday there, right after the accountability call. So, you can go have some coffee with Miss Kelly, the nurturer who loves everyone. She tends to bring special guests on. It's always, it's great. And I'm glad she brought it back this year. I love that side of it, and it's there. Birthdays, we got some coming up here. Yesterday's was Stephanie's. We got Nane's, Roos coming. We got a lot of January babies here. We had Miss M and Miss Crystal last week, so I like that. I'm gonna knock out builders real quick. Scott and Kelly, Stephen, Katie, Helen, Diana, and Jessica last week. Getting some interviews done. I'm going fast, guys, because frankly, I just want to get to Jim. We see leaderboards every week. What do we do? 31 submitted last week, 25 apps, 13 riders, 2 ready to write, and 6 builders. I'm going to go top 10. I'll go everybody on the board. We got Miller with 1, Scott with 1, Diana with 1, top 10, Debbie with 1 for 941, Helen with 1 for 1121, Brendan, I believe that was his first Razor Ridge, so I love that at 1134. Ruth putting in almost 1,500. I know that was Kyle's first sale from a lead. So congrats, Kyle, buddy, that was your first like non-warm market, like knocked out a sale. You know you can do it now. That's always my favorite. Fifth place, Miss Rissa knocking out 2637. Man, good thing I'm not looking up top. Mr. Bender, Mr. Consistent, always in the Mac room, loving everybody at 2666. Miss Shelby, love it. Just edging out Mr. Bender at 2,800. Um, Miss Ashley Bryant at 3,121. And I guess it's a good week for me to lead the leaderboard since I'm hosting the call. We got 12,945 in this week. Trying to lead from the front there and just showing you guys it's possible, right? Like you can go right 10, 15, 20K a week. I need to get 2,100 more bucks in so I get on that 15K leaderboard for the contest at Symmetry. Everybody got 25 absent last week, so I like it. I'm not going to name everybody off there. I'm going to go top 5. Rissa with 2, Bender with 3, Miss Shelby with 3, Miss Ashley back with 3, and myself at 6. What do we got coming up in 2026? Hey, some big events, right? End of February, we have the Align Business Academy. Hint, hint, someone on this call might be there. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you don't have your ticket yet, we might have some incredible teachers coming. After that's Cookmaster in Knoxville, and then Ignite in Dallas. So stay tuned for those. They just announced all the new trips. So you can in to see guys Align Business Academy. We're doing this different than any conference you've been to at this company. Brian Williamson is going to be teaching a Sunday night course for 2 hours for opening night. We're going to have speakers like Jim teaching, Scott Schnitzer, one of the newest advisory board members. Go get your hotels booked. We got Saturday opened up. Kevin got on. He got the Saturday opened up. Remember, conference starts a day early. It does not start the day that is posted. Here is the code, right? Go into there, get your ticket, and we are good to go. All right, I like it. Now we can get to now I get to the fun stuff.
You pounded those out, man. You flew.
I did. That was my goal was 10:15. I got it done I'm in Mountain right now, so I got it done by 10:15. I'm like, I'm
Trevor,
getting
if
through.
this doesn't work out for you, you can be an auctioneer.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of talked to a bunch of people before. I said, hey, are you guys cool if we just knock out the leaderboards fast, get as much time with Jim as we can? And everybody said yes. So everybody was like, let's knock them out quick. I'm like, all right, let's go. We're going to rock through. Here's one of the things I love about you, Jim. And I feel like because I'm a relentless pursuit of personal growth guy. It's one of the things that attracted me to you. But what I love is you and I don't have to have a conversation before this. We haven't talked about what we're going to talk about. I don't have to have some 20-minute meeting to plan out the meeting because your cup's full, right? But I want to talk about something you were doing. You were doing that I've gone back and listened to. You did the Unquit podcast, for those that don't know, okay? And when I was really getting going last year and got over losing everything, it was incredibly helpful for me. I think something that can really help a lot of new agents here, you talked about a lot, was response versus reaction, right? Because business isn't about where you are, but how you respond. What does that look like for you? And what can the people that are not there yet, what can they do to get there?
Man, opening up with a good question. First of all, Trevor, thank you for inviting me onto this call. And Scott and Kelly, thank you for opening up this platform and welcoming me here. I never take the responsibility lightly. I am very careful of the voices I bring to my people because the voices we listen to influence our belief, which then inspires our activity. And so any invite I get, I take that responsibility seriously. I want to thank you and I want to honor that. Trevor, man, so many people find themselves in places in life and in business that they are not thrilled with. And go ahead and put a 1 in the comments, guys, if you're not where you want to be. Now, for those of us that are ambitious, that have vision, that have goals, No matter where we are, I can go put a 1 there. I'm not where I want to be.
Nope.
Right? Like I got stuff I've yet to do, guys. Like I got stuff to go do. And what the trick in it is how you can honestly put a 1 in the comments, but not emotionally beat yourself up for the gap that exists between where you are and where you want to be. The managing of the emotion in that gap is so much a part of what we're doing here. That gap is important as the North Star and direction where you're headed. It's important as the driver behind your activity, but it can just as easily twist in a negative way and become the overwhelm, become the disappointment, become the I'm not enough, I can't be enough, I can't do this, I'm overwhelmed, I'm wearing too many hats, I'm never going to get there, it's too far away, the activity today isn't going to make a difference. And so it's so easy for us to get in this spot where we're not where we want to be and get really frustrated and in our heads about it. And that's where I have carried this message to my team over and over again. Life, business, this business has nothing to do with where you find yourself. That is one data point. What matters is how you respond to that. Okay, you had your best month ever? Cool. How do you respond? You had your worst month ever? Okay, how do you respond? You got off to a fast start as a new agent. How do you respond? You did not get the start you wanted as a new agent. How do you respond? Everything that you're going to experience as results in your life are going to depend on how you respond to where you are, not the overwhelm of where you are. That distinction becomes hugely important. I have watched people come into this business, fly up the leaderboards, and everyone's like, oh, who is this person? Let's get them on all the calls. 3 months later, they're quit and gone. I have watched the opposite story, probably more often. People slow, ramp up, struggle through the learning curve, figure it out, beating themselves up. I'm never going to get there. And little by little, they get it until all of a sudden they're rocking out way further than that other person ever was because they didn't beat themselves up. They responded appropriately. What you're going to experience is going to be your response to your circumstances, not your circumstances. And I need you to hear that so clearly because every one of you wears a lot of hats. Every one of you has a ton of circumstances. You're going to look at successful people and you're going to be tempted. And this is where, Trevor, I think you and I, we share this obsession with personal growth. The reason I share an obsession of personal growth, and I think you get this too, is I'm quite frankly proud of who I've become. And when I look back 5 years ago, especially 10 years ago at who I was, I'm not proud of that guy. And so when I'm obsessed with personal growth, it's because for the first time in the journey of this thing I call my life, I can look in the mirror and I can be proud of who's looking back. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to look in the mirror and be proud of you because it's out of that pride you build a business. It's out of that pride you change your family. It's out of the pride of looking in the mirror and knowing I'm the type of person who did what I said I'm going to do. So yes, I'm obsessed with personal growth because of that. But in all of this, you wear multiple hats. You're pulled in a million directions. You're going to be so tempted before you get into personal growth to look at the success other people have and find differences between you and them that justify why you're not there. You're going to look for the differences. You're going to spend, and I'm saying this as someone who did it, so hear me clearly. I came in here and I quit. I get it. You're going to spend more time, effort, and energy justifying to yourself why you can't, rather than proving to yourself that you can. And when you learn how to shift that, when you learn how to say, yeah, my circumstances are hard. Maybe your circumstances are uniquely hard. Maybe the deck has been stacked against you in a powerful way. And you're like, yeah, sure, that's cool for you, Jim. That's cool for you, Kelly and Trevor. And so that's cool for you guys. But I don't have what you guys have. You guys were dealt a hand of cards I didn't get. And if you were dealt my cards, maybe you wouldn't have gotten there. And you know what? You're right. As long as you want to be right. But life is not about the cards you were dealt. It's how you play them. And when you learn to take responsibility for how you play the hand you were dealt, when you take ownership instead of looking out for somebody else to fix your hand, and you just say, okay, this is where I am. I am 60 pounds overweight. My bank account is not where I want it. My business is not where I want it. I can be mad. I can point to why it shouldn't be. I can point to all the circumstances that led me here, or I can take responsibility for how I respond to that. Man, when you learn how to own that, go write your ticket, go build your business, go do whatever you want to do, but it's going to start there. And that's going to be the journey that gets really exciting to watch.
Yeah, that's for me, like, I dealt with a little bit when I started of, Dylan came in, Dylan and I, both rookies the same year, both started later. I had an incredible rookie year. I wrote $209,000 in 8 months, and I was only third in the company. Like, in most years, I win rookie of the year from a producer standpoint if Dylan doesn't come in. And it's really easy, right? Like, it's really easy to go say, well, Dylan was doing this and Dylan did that. But I started building faster, right? And I figured that, like, side of it out. So one of my favorite things I got out of Green Ninja was making a fool out of fear. Okay. I think that ties in really well to what we're doing here. What have you seen in your time from the people, right? And you talked about it within the last 2 months on the accountability call, right? We have people like Kelly Bush, right? Who are just Trisha Benish, that are just wired completely differently, right? You broke them into the 3 categories, right? So for the people that are in that 3rd category right now, how do they learn how to make a fool out of fear and get over that fear?
Yeah. Those of you who don't know me, I don't want to say highly emotional. I have access to the full range of human emotion. For a long time in my life, that access to the full range of human emotion did not serve me well, because I get really big feelings, and those feelings are the lens through which I interpret my reality. So I can get really high, I can get really low, I feel what I feel deeply, and I had to learn to feel what I felt and not blindly react to what I felt. I had to take my feelings as an advisor. Okay, cool. I see you there. That doesn't mean I have to jump and respond. I'm allowed to feel one way, and I'm allowed to act with wisdom. That took me a long time to learn. Because I have access to the full range of human emotion, I have this personality type that is terrified to impose myself on people. I need to be invited, probably invited a second time, then maybe a handwritten card promising me it wouldn't be the same unless I was there, because I don't have FOMO. That does not exist in me. The party of the year could go on at my next door neighbor's house. I will be perfectly content at home watching a movie. I am very comfortable in my own skin doing my own thing. So I don't have FOMO. I will not impose myself on you. I will not. So then, as part of the reason I quit the first time, I come into this gig here, and they're like, oh, you got some leads, here's some phone numbers. You're just going to interrupt these people in the middle of their day and give them a call. I'm like, what do you mean? They don't know I'm calling? No, they don't know. They asked for a call, but they don't know your name. They don't know your phone number. They don't know that you're calling. This is the thing. You're just going to interrupt them. Right? They could be checking out at Home Depot. They could be making dinner for their kids. They could be in a really inopportune time, and I'm gonna just interrupt them. Like, that sounds terrible. That goes against my entire wiring. So I'm like, I pick up the phone, and you better believe the very second they were like, yeah, I don't think I want this. Oh, good. I didn't want to call you anyway. So good. Like, I could go through entire dial sessions, and the amount of joy I got when they didn't want to talk to me because I also didn't want to talk to them was a match made in heaven. And I went hours on the phone without making any appointments or selling anything, because I couldn't get over the fear of looking incompetent, the fear of imposing myself on people, the fear of them potentially asking me a question I didn't know the answer to. Like the level of fear I felt was something that was my business for me. And that wasn't going to get me where I wanted to go. That's also what drove me to quitting the first time. And when I came back the second time, it wasn't that my personality was different. It wasn't that I had fewer feelings, and it wasn't that I wasn't scared. And this is the trick, I think, really to getting over any fear. You have to find something bigger to be afraid of. You simply have to find something bigger to be afraid of. When I came back the second time, I had 6 months of money in our savings account. I had a family of 5 to feed and a stay-at-home wife. I did not have the option or the luxury of seeing if this was going to work. This had to work. This was going to work, or we weren't going to have a house. This was going to work, or we weren't paying bills. We weren't going to have food. There was no like, oh, win or lose, I'm going to see what happens. No, it was win or die trying. Like there was nothing in the middle. And so, yes, was I scared to pick up the phone? I was more scared to tell my wife we weren't making our mortgage payment. Was I scared to look incompetent? Absolutely, I was. I was more afraid to not have groceries for my family. You have to find something bigger to be afraid of. And then as you press into the fear, guys, my first day back here, my first day, I'd already done this once and failed. I come back here, and like a lot of you, you're for the first time, you're figuring out if this is going to work for you or not. I already had a failure on my record. I already knew I sucked at this when I came back. The only reason I did was because I watched Jamie Susie and Sarah Reinecke. I had brought them into business. I was here. I recruited them. And we were all struggling, and I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. I quit. I let them roll up to Jacob, and then I watched them. I'm like, oh, maybe you can do this. And so I come back under them, and my first day back, I print out 10 lead cards. I'm like, I'm gonna start small. I'm just gonna take these 10. I called all 10. I think 6 of them answered, and nobody was interested in anything I was selling, which was normal for me. And the last one, it was a guy's name on the card, but a woman's voice answered the phone. And the script in front of me did not address that potential obstacle. And I freaked out and hung up on her in the middle of the call because I had no idea what to do when that obstacle presented itself. And then I'm like, holy crap, this is my first day back. Again, my back's against the wall. I'm like, I really do suck at this. I'm like, I am the worst at this. I'm going to quit again. I drank 3 beers. I cried. I took a nap, and I quit again in my head. And that was 10:30 in the morning. I did not come back and like just find myself to success. I came back the same scared, insecure guy, but I was scared of something bigger, and that forced me into the trenches in a way I didn't have the discipline to do myself.
I think that ties in really well. So, you know, I had this like in my head I wanted to talk to you about, right? You have a great chapter in your book called Should Invite Shame, right? I relate to you. We've only lightly talked to this, but Jim and I are, for you guys that know me on this call that know me well, will know that when Jim was talking about having the full range of human emotion, I am also wired with the full range of human emotion. We also are both married to the same person that tells us to shut up and suck it up. So I relate more than most of that, but right. One of the things I love that you say in there is don't use the word should, right? Own that you will or you won't, right? Like that really, like I loved how you said that. So I think, how do you go from that to owning you will or you won't?
How many of you on this call have things in your life you know you should be doing, but you're not doing? And we don't even need to talk about this business. This business is just one part of that. But how many of us feel I should quit smoking. I should drink less. I should go to the gym. I should clean my room. I should this. I should that. Replacing the freaking air filters in my house, should be doing that. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of home maintenance stuff in my house I should be doing. I'm a really bad homeowner. I don't know none of it. I'm more the guy, I'm going to make enough money to fix it when it breaks rather than try to maintain it along the way. Cause I don't know how to maintain a house. I was not born with that stuff, right? And so you can build up this list of shoulds. And when that list gets really, really long, and you look at the list of all the things you should be doing, but you're not doing, how does that make you feel? Makes you feel like maybe you don't even have what it takes to even live your life. You start to feel like, man, I should be doing this. I don't have the capacity to do this. Like that lists all the things I should be doing. That looks exhausting. I don't even know where I'd start. It becomes an overwhelming place where you beat yourself up and feel like, man, I don't have what it takes. And then all we do in this business, I should be dialing more. I should be learning more. I should be growing more. We're just adding more and more things to this list that become data points in our minds of all the reasons why we don't have what it takes to live the life that we want to live, and you're setting yourself up to guarantee your failure. I want to shrink that list, man. I want to shrink that list as small as it can get. And the easiest way to shrink it is just stop using that word. Like, do things or don't do them. When I'm coaching my team, I don't let them say I should. I don't let them say I'm going to. I don't let them say try. There's will or there won't. I know I should be dialing more. Stop, reframe. Tell me what? I will dial more. Great. How much more? I should spend more in leads. Stop. Reframe. I will. Good. Good. Because your energy is going to align with your conviction. You are so used to telling yourself you should and not following through that it becomes meaningless. You're now throwing meaningless words out there. They mean nothing to you. You're not going to follow suit behind words that mean nothing. And this is really where and how. I mean, I see a number of familiar faces from the accountability group that I do in the morning. And where that group started from came right out of this. The realization that every single one of us have our entire lives told ourselves we were going to do things, didn't do them, and there were no immediate consequences. If we told someone else we were going to do it and they were waiting for us, like, hey, well, let's meet at the gym at 6 a.m., we'd be real hard pressed to not show up. But when we just tell ourselves, I think I'm going to go work out tomorrow at 6 a.m., and then that alarm goes off and you're like, yeah, but I don't have to. And then you hit that snooze button, and not only were there no consequences for not doing what you said you were going to do, you actually got rewarded with an extra hour of sleep and a warm, cozy bed. And I've watched people layer this over and over, year after year after year. So many times you said you were going to do something, you didn't do it, there were no consequences. And so you simply learned that to yourself, your word doesn't mean anything. You want to believe you're a person of integrity. You want to believe your word matters and your word means something. But yet to you, arguably the most important person to yourself, to you, your word has become meaningless, and the things you say you're going to do have become optional. If you want to grow a business, that's got to change. That's not got to change now. That needed to change 6 months ago. Because the people who are going to build businesses are the people of integrity whose words matter. So if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I will not miss twice. Anybody can miss once. Sometimes you're going to miss because you just didn't anticipate the obstacles. You didn't see the flat tire coming. You didn't see the kid getting sick. You didn't see these things. Okay, there's grace in that. But what you do is you take what you learned and you plug the holes. So I will never, and sometimes I do miss twice, but I won't miss twice the same way. You're going to have to throw something new at me, because every time I do fail, I'm not afraid to fail. Failing just shows me I'm not a boat builder, guys. I've never built a boat. right? I've not been taught how to do this, right? But building a business is building a boat. And so many people want to perfect the boat on land, but you don't know where the leaks are till it gets in the water. And so what I do is I build this boat, I throw it in the water, I see where the leaks are, I plug those holes. As we go deeper, more holes pop up. I plug those holes. And so you can have the best plan in the world, but until you hit obstacles that show leaks in your plan, you don't know where you're weak. You don't know where you lack integrity. You don't know where the system's going to fail. So you build it and you go, and then you plug the holes and you wait for, you look around like, all right, we're floating, wait for more. Okay, that broke down, more holes, plug those holes. And when you learn to become the person of integrity whose word matters, and if and when you inevitably miss, you do not excuse it. You own it. And you decide that is never going to happen again. I said I was going to wake up. I didn't. There was a leak in that system. How can I prevent that leak? Maybe if I throw my phone completely across the room and my alarm goes off from 20 feet away, I got to get up to shut that off or get divorced. I'm going to go across that room. I'm going to shut that alarm off. That's plugging a hole. It's fixing the system. So you have to respond in the way you agreed to. Does that make sense?
100%. You just lead me so well of where I wanted to go today. Because like
it's like we did have this conversation and plan it.
It did. Because you like, so far, my favorite chapter in your new book is burnout rarely happens from doing too much. And because I've burnt myself out in my life, right? Before I came here in my old business, for the, those that have heard my story, right? I was doing 10 mil a year. We had all the money. We lived in Scottsdale, Arizona, nice house, nice cars, could do what we want when we wanted. And I was burnt out and I was exhausted. And it is this quote in your book that is my favorite quote so far. Burnout is a sign you're not making progress. And, you were just talking about, right? Hey, I'm not going to miss it twice. So for those that feel burnt out, right? And they feel like they're doing this and they've been here 6 months, they've been here a year, they're in that rut right now. How do we get them over that rut?
You have to understand your own psychology. You got to know how your brain, heart, emotions all tie in together and how that influences your activity. I believe firmly the human spirit is wired for progress. Wired for progress. And that's where that was the inspiration behind that chapter. When I see people burned out, it's not because they're working too hard. It's not because they're doing too much. It's because the effort they're pouring in, they're not seeing a result. They're not seeing it affect any change. They're not seeing progress. That can be true no matter your level of effort. You could be pouring a ton of effort into something, but if you are seeing that effort make progress toward a worthy goal, you're not going to burn out because you're making progress toward a worthy goal. Don't tell Mother Teresa she's loving people too much. She's not going to burn out from doing what she loves when she sees progress happening. On the flip side, you can be doing very little, but if you don't see that effort, even that small amount of effort paying off or going anywhere or moving you forward, you're going to quit that effort too. Quitting and burning out has nothing to do with how much you're doing. It has to do with how much progress you're making. It has to do with the ROI on your effort. You can call it ROE, not return on investment, return on effort. We all have a calculated ROE that we expect from our effort. And when we are not getting a return on our effort, we're going to question whether putting in the effort is even worth it. Knowing this becomes something you have got to human hack. You have got to play with and recognize that even though you are your own boss and you have professional independence and you can work whenever you want, you have to recognize that there's a sense of urgency that you need to manufacture that may not exist from a boss over your shoulder. It may not exist because you've got, performance reviews coming up. You're going to have to manufacture urgency because the fact of it is there is urgency. If you're here 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years, you haven't promoted, you're going to quit. You're like, I don't want to quit. Good, then make progress, because eventually, if you're not making progress, you're going to feel the return on your effort isn't worth it, and you're going to stop putting in effort. You have to understand the power of progress to inspire future effort. And if you ignore that, or you're naive to that, and you think, I can do this, you can't, because you will quit. I did quit. You have to understand that. And if you don't feel the urgency of the next promotion, if you don't feel the urgency of the next level of deposits, if you don't feel the urgency, then you need to manufacture the urgency, because that complacency is going to be the death of your business. So I had my next promotion on my wall in front of me all the time. I didn't even think that far down the road. I was so overwhelmed and just needed to make money for my family that I just had the next thing hung in front of me. 90% exactly what do I have to do? And I'm talking to Jamie, what do I have to do to get there? Because I can't skip 90 anyway. So 95 is irrelevant. What do I have to do to get there? When I'm at 90, 95, what do I have to do to get there? When I'm at team lead, what is key lead? I don't even know what it means. But that's the next thing. That's where we're going. I was obsessed with it, obsessed with progress. I had to have the next thing in my mind. That's what I'm going. I will not fall backwards. I will not move backwards. I won't even stay stagnant. I will make progress. And if I ever didn't, I plugged the holes, and the reasons why and all the excuses became holes I plugged. So I got to a point where I'm willing to fail. And I didn't joke about this. I talked about it on accountability. I've got some personal goals this year for my physical fitness. My weight has been a battle my entire life. And I have, throughout lots of my life, set goals. I've achieved a lot of them. I ran an entire marathon, 26.2 miles, at a 7-minute 42-second pace for the entire marathon. I've been in phenomenal shape. I ran a 10-mile race at a 6:36 pace. But I never identified myself as an in-shape person. So I did in-shape things till I got in-shape goals. But because I was never in my mind an in-shape person, the minute I achieved that goal, everything I did to get there, I just let go, and then, whatever. So anyway, I've got these personal goals. And because this has been a fight for me for 40 freaking years, I've learned a lot of where the holes in the boat are. I've learned a lot about how I fail, where I fail, when I fail, the context I fail. I have plugged and created systems. So this year, I'm really excited about this year, Trevor, because if I fail, I'm going to actually be really impressed. I don't think I could come up with a new way to fail. I have taken every previous way that I have failed in the past. I have plugged all of those holes and created systems that those ways will not bring me down. If I fail this year, it has become entirely new rationalization. I'm kind of excited to see if that could happen. And I will welcome it and do what? I will plug the holes and keep going.
Something you were talking about in there that I don't think enough agents do is you talked about you're on the phone with Jamie. Hey, how do I get to the next thing? Right? Because so you, and this is probably a tie for first. Second favorite chapter in the book. I'm going to give a second one is accountability sounds mean to victims. Okay. And as someone personally that has gone through real victimhood, right? Like real victimhood, like real bad stuff. It took me years to get through that. Mm-hmm. Like brain was messed up, had to get it rewired. But like what it's just what you say to start it, right? You say most people will work harder to ensure that failure isn't their fault rather than work to make success their responsibility. So, right, how do we get them out of that situation they're in, right? And be that accountable person to themselves first. Because when we're accountable to ourselves first, it's easy to be accountable to others. But how do we also use the accountability of others to get past that?
Yeah. I was really sensitive in writing that chapter, Trevor, because when you're not ready to hear it, you're not ready to hear it. And I can't make you ready to hear it. You know, when I started realizing the power of personal development and I started becoming proud of the man that I was becoming, I got really excited to see the potential in other people. I saw this broken, insecure, highly emotional guy become emotionally regulated, stable, strong, confident. And I'm like, if I can do that, anyone can do it. So I started this platform of like, you can do this. And the pushback I got was unbelievable. I'm like, wait, you can do this. It should be encouraging. It should be exciting. I thought people would want to hear they can do it. The fact is, it's a lot easier to believe you can't. Because as long as you believe you can't do it, then you don't face the responsibility for doing it. And so I watch people fight so hard to prove they can't, because as long as they can prove and believe they can't do it, then no one can hold them responsible for not having done it. And so I watch people, they claim, I can't because of this. 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 And they're going to reinforce and reinforce. So when a guy like me comes along, you can, that unravels their entire belief system that has given them the excuse they needed to not. And until they're ready to take ownership, until they are more tired of their excuses than they are, they're not ready to hear it. And that message sounds mean. It sounds mean because it's telling them they've got agency, they've got responsibility, they've got power, they've got ability. They could do something about this. And if they actually took the courage to believe they could do something, then they have to face all the reasons they haven't. Ooh. You're asking people to step sometimes into decades of trauma. You're asking people to step into decades of insecurity. You're asking people to open their closets that are really tightly shut, open them up, let the demons out, let the skeletons out, and go fight them. And that's hard. And that's unnerving, and it's scary. And so it becomes so much easier for us to keep the skeletons and demons in the closet, to keep holding on to all the reasons we can't, and to get mad at the person telling us that we can, as if they're naive and they don't know. And I'm here to tell you, as you would say also, Trevor, I don't want to break your party, but you actually can. You can when you're ready. You can when you're ready. When you're ready to believe you can, I promise you, you can. There is a pathway. There is a roadmap. There are mentors. There is a system. When you want to believe you can, the way is there. But I can't make you ready. I can't make you want to. I can only cast a vision of what it will look like when you choose.
You can't say any better than that. It's a, you know, it's a thing that, so interesting story. I've actually never shared this part with anybody. So how I met Kelly Bush was through Kelly Summers' morning coffee call, right? She
Oh,
had
wow.
Kelly on, and I was like, ooh, Kelly Bush is spicy. I like her, right? Like, like for those who don't know, like Kelly's really direct, and I could be very direct. And I was like, ooh, and then right, and I'm learning. This was in the fall last year, and I was like, I really like her. I like where she came from. I like her background. I like she's very driven, and anybody that knows me that I've reached out to knows I'm very specific about time. I'm like, hey, I want to know this, this, and this. I'm not like, can I pick your brain? That is arguably my least favorite saying in the world. That's one of them. Like, oof, nails on a chalkboard for me. But I'm very specific, like, hey, I think you do this good. Can it be there? And so I was telling Kelly where I was, and she challenged me to get on your accountability call. She's like, look, doesn't matter where you are. Like, this call is open to everybody. This is, a little, I don't know, 12, 13, probably 13, 14 months ago now, I was like, I'm accountable to myself, right? Like I could be there. And then like I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. Like, let's get there. And then I came in, right? And I think we were like 100 something people at that time. And now it is the monster that it is. But the thing that stood out to me, um, is you are very good and you have a rhythm of talking about, and the book talks about be obsessed or be averaged. I can get being obsessed to get to where I want to go. I'm very, very good at just myopically being there. But for those that aren't, for the nurturers in the room, for those that are like, I've never learned how to become obsessed and have it be healthy. People hear obsessed and they think it's unhealthy. Obsession can be actually really, really healthy. Um, you talked about, I remember you said a great thing. You talked about a trapper keeper, right? Which as a Gen Xer speaks to my soul. So, but average people quit. How do we get them as we end up in this call here? How do we get them past being average?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're going to be obsessed or be average, but I love the way you framed that because we often look at obsession as a bad thing. Like, oh, you drank the Kool-Aid, you're all in on that. We need balance in our lives. And how gentle do I want to be?
Let her rip.
Balance is a really nice sounding word for people who don't have goals.
Ooh.
I don't know how to say it a different way. If you read, let's even go to Gary Keller's book, The One Thing. In the book, The One Thing, he talks about success being sequential, not simultaneous. And what he means by that is success follows a sequence of things, one thing at a time. Give one thing, the absolute best of you, build that, then do the next, then do the next. And what we do instead in this chasing of balance, in this repulsion to being obsessed with one thing, we spread ourselves thin, overcommit to lots of things, never give any one thing the best of us. And here's what happens. It's not even that alone is bad. What's bad is what happens inside of you as you look at having spread yourself thin, having never achieved anything of significance because you never gave anything the best of you. And now your conclusion is the doubting of your ability. And so because you've never done anything of significance, you say, I'm not the type of person that can do things of significance. So you come here and let this be one more thing of all the things you balance and spread yourself thin. And you're like, I'm not the type of person that does significant things. And it's not because you can't. You drew the wrong conclusion. The only thing you did was spread yourself across so many different things. And you've never once given any one thing the best of you to see what you're capable of. That's the obsession I'm talking about. Look at anybody in the world ever, in all of human history, that has achieved something remarkable. They went through a season of obsession. Look at the athlete that got a full ride to college, D1, for their sport. They went through a season where they were obsessed. Look at the actor that made it onto the big stage. They went through a season. They were obsessed. Look at the person that built a big business here or anywhere. They went through a season where they were obsessed. And obsession doesn't need to mean anything more than, I'm going to make it so simple for you. Well, I'm going to give you two things. One, your life revolves around it instead of it fitting into your life. That football player that got a full ride to D1 or got drafted to the NFL, they didn't try to fit practice into their life. They practiced and their life fit in around it. Every single time. Every single time. When I watch new agents struggle, they resist this. This is, to them, one more thing in their life and lots of hats. And so they're trying to fit it in and balance it. And they're trying to fit this around their life. And they're like, I've got big goals. I want to change my family's life. I've got goals of doing things here that I've never done. I don't even know if I can do, but I want to dream of that. But yet I'm going to fit this in among all the other things in my life. It doesn't work that way. People look at what I did coming in here after quitting. And the only reason I did that was because I had to be obsessed. I was going to figure this out or we were not going to eat food. And so living where I live in Virginia, not too far from DC, and Scott and Kelly know this area, living where I live, we have a lot of government contractors, military, former military. I know a lot of guys in my neighborhood and around that deploy professionally for work. That's what they do. They might be gone from their families for 9 months. They're missing sports games. They're missing recitals. They're missing this stuff. That is their job. I watch my friends live lives where they might be gone for 9 months. Their family continues on. Their family loves them. None of that is sacrificed, but it is the life that they have chosen, and it comes with the territory. I came into this having no option but to succeed and was very clear with my wife. Babe, I might just have to be deployed. Like, you might have to run this. This might take me, I don't know how long it's going to take me to figure this out. This might take me 80 hours a week. It might take me 100. I might have to get a little apartment where I'm waking up at 2 in the morning and I'm up till midnight. I don't know. The only thing I know is I can't fail. Turns out I didn't have to give it that much. Turns out I didn't have to miss that much, but I had to come to the end of myself till I was willing to. That's the level of one thing I want to give you. If you want to win at anything, your life is surrounded by that. Your dial time becomes non-negotiable. It doesn't become, I'm going to fit my whole life in and then see what's left over and see if I can dial. No, this is dial time. I'm deployed. I'm locked in a bunker. You can't reach me. I got a lot of moms on my team. They're like, well, I try to set that up, Jim. And, well, then the kids, they're always interrupting. And I'm like, you have kids. That's what they do. They interrupt. I'm like, I could have told you your kids were going to interrupt. Your kids have been interrupting you since they came out of you. Like, that's what kids do. The fact that you're like, I set up this time and they interrupted me. I'm like, yeah, you got to set boundaries or figure out ways around that, because you can't be surprised when the very thing that you know is going to happen actually happens. You got to be prepared for those things. And let yourself be unprepared for the things you couldn't see coming, but you got to be prepared for the stuff you saw. So you're going to block that time. You're going to be obsessed with that. The second thing with the trapper keeper is, even when you're not doing that thing, you're dreaming about it. You're thinking about it. You're obsessing about it. And the metaphor I gave in my book was like, imagine your first crush. You're like back in middle school, high school. You got your trapper keeper. You couldn't spend every waking minute. You couldn't be deployed with that person. You had your family, you had sports, you had all this other stuff. Well, even when you weren't with them, you were doodling pictures about them, dreaming of them, drawing pictures in your locker, drawing hearts with arrows. You were obsessed with them in your mind, even when that's what it takes. That's what it takes. It took deciding I was going to win, letting my life fill in around the obligation I had to win for my family. And then even when I wasn't doing this, I was obsessed with it, thinking about it, dreaming about it, troubleshooting it, learning it. You couple those things together, I'm going to make you a promise. You're going to win at bigger ways than you ever dreamed. And the only reason you're not going to is because you didn't do one of those two things.
Is that all you got, Jim?
That's all I got, Trev.
Scott, Kelly, I want to be very respectful of Jim's time. We're right on the hour here. You want to take us out before we spin the wheel, Mr. Summers?
Hey, just blown away, Jim. Man, it's always a pleasure seeing you, hearing you. I appreciate you. And if you want to tell folks while we're here where they can find your book, what the title is, if they don't know.
Yeah, let me grab it here. It is called Selling Security, a Blueprint for Mastering Life Insurance Sales. You can find it on Amazon right now in the Kindle version. It is in pre-order for paperback. It will ship February 3rd. I'm a voracious reader. And when I came back to Symmetry, I'm like, I got to read every book on life insurance sales there is. I got to learn this. Turns out there were really no books on life insurance sales. So I gave myself 4 years to get really good at this. And then I wrote the book I wish I had when I was new. So that's what you're going to find there.
Yeah, just Kelly, it's always a pleasure to have just amazing people on. Trevor, just great job putting this together. Trevor just like brings the guests, the amazing guests. And Kelly, I know we've been talking about this all week.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you came today, Jim. And I was just like, why do we wait until now to have you on? But thanks, Trevor. Trevor's our connector. He brings people here, and we just love the relationships he's made here at Symmetry. So I'm grateful that you poured into our team today. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, guys. I'm truly honored by the opportunity.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Everything you do. Value your friendship so much. Thanks. Thanks for coming on, and everybody stay. We're gonna do a little spin real quick.
Thanks, Jim.
I did not put my name on the board because I'm the one sponsoring this. But you gotta be present to win. So we're gonna click to spin here, and let's see who's getting a signed copy of the book. Is it
Yeah.
new agent Kyle? Kyle, who just made his
Kyle's
first sale
heads.
from a lead.
Yeah, heck yeah, Kyle.
Yeah, I love it. Congrats, Mr. Kyle. I'll get your address. I'll text it over to you, Jim.
Yep, sounds great.
Yeah, and I'll send it to Sid.
Actually, send it to me because I have the books here.
Okay.
Sid doesn't have them, so send it to me, and I'll
Okay, awesome. Again, appreciate you, brother, and thank you for everything you do for us in this company.
Thanks,
Yep.
Jim.
You're welcome, guys. We'll talk soon. Bye.